Welcome back to the 160th anniversary playthrough of Battle of Stones River. We're playing here with Dead of Winter from the Great Battles of the American Civil War series by GMT, Richard Berg, Dave Powell, etc. We're playing a short scenario, just a one mapper, actually even about a half or quarter of the map on here. We're up to turn 2, where this is the very initial attack by the Confederates, by Bragg and the Confederates on the very left-hand side of the Confederate flank against the right side of the Union flank, and kind of caught them on the first day, at the very first hour of the day, too. This was starting at 6 a.m. and kind of caught them eating breakfast or getting breakfast ready, and we're able to push them back. So we're simulating this with this battle. It's called Dawn Attack. We're up to turn 2. The initial attack, if you saw the prior video on this, had the Confederates move up from the bottom of the board here, or bottom of the screen here, and attack, or move up like this to get into attack formation. We've got two divisions, two Confederate divisions. We've got McGowan, and we've got Claiborne, or Shelbourne, excuse me. And then we've also got Cheatham over here coming on the board, just off the map. There we go. Right there. Just off the map. Come on, there we go. Right over here, coming on the board this turn, attacking the right wing of the Union Army. That's under General McCook. He's up here. And his units here, particularly Johnson's division, is stretched out across here. Now Johnson had 3 brigades in here. One is Willich, another one is Davis, Davis right there, and the third one was Sheridan, who's stationed back here. And they're stretched out along this line to protect the flank, but they're at the very end of the flank, and the flank is open just beyond the screen to the top here. So Confederates have a good chance of swinging around, and that's what actually happened. And the attack that I am simulating here, we're going to have the Confederates, they've moved down the road this way, the Franklin Road this way, and now they're shifting to go north up this road here as their axis of attack on them. The Union just needs to preserve themselves as best as possible, try to pull back and hold this as long as possible, but they've got some difficulties here with this. We've got some command issues over here, as you can see. We've got some terrain issues with cedars, which are very slow in moving units, causing demoralization to some units. In here, we've got regular woods, and then of course cedars over here as well. So they've got to hold off as best they can. It's a 4-turn scenario. We're up to turn 2. So let's get things going, and we'll go from there. So with turn 2, I have already done the initiative. Confederates have won the initiative. I have also done the Union efficiency. Confederate efficiency is fixed at 4 for Hardy, 3 for Polk. Hardy, Polk over here. The Union came up with initiative of 3. McCook is a -1, so they're dropped to a 2. And then various adjustments for the different divisions and brigades over here. Left this at a 2, but there are some minuses over here for out of command, as you can see. Going along here, but some others will definitely give a bonus on there. So we'll see how this goes as the battle goes along. So the first chit is going to actually be the Confederates, as I said, and it's going to be, if I can get that to zoom in there, it's going to be McCowan, which he's the green units over here, which have started the attack. They're going to keep pressing the attack because the Confederate advance or attack is centered around this road. So he's going to try to push on both sides of this, open it up, and then hopefully get um, Shelbourne or Claiborne to move up through the gap and then provide the second attack up through here and hopefully push the Union off. In the meantime, we're going to have Cheatham, as I said, over here, pivot in an axis much like this and come up on a, try to get around. It's going to be tough because we got heavy cedars up here, but try to get around through these open hexes and drive for the road up here as well. Try to push back Sheridan and the right flank of Davis's units over here. So that's the plan of attack here. So let's get going with McGowan over here. Now what I'm going to do is actually do some of the movement, get stuff ready. I don't think you need to see all my thinking about different situations. They are in attack mode. All of McGowan's units are in attack mode. So they will be pushing off to the attack here. But let me get this going. I may do some dice rolls, may bring it back, and get you through the first activation over here. So let's see how it goes. Okay, we are back from McCowan's first activation. Quite a bit of action going on here, over here in his sector. First off, tried to see if he could coordinate brigades, but it failed. So no brigades coordinated, but the attacks still went on. First off, we had Rains over here go against the 29th Indiana and the 31st Indiana here, right here, and push them back. You can see they disordered, and there was some strength loss there. This unit, 31st, he withered quite the strong attack from this hex, which was 2 regiments of muskets, and then Ector's units, when he got in there, of some old rifles, and just some old rifles, sorry. Then he pushed up the this Texas unit here to try to get around them and attack going forward there. Also, too, over here we had another rout by the Union troops. This was the 34th Illinois that was here. They went into a firefight with these units here, back and forth, disordered. But then the biggest thing was here, McNair's brigade, these 2 regiments, these 2 Arkansas regiments, came up from this point here and attacked them on the flank. That routed them. They were completely routed, couldn't retreat, and just lost strength points until they were down to 1 and subsequently routed. Then they got a continued attack, so they could continue to press forward and tried to go after the 99th Illinois up here, but they got away from them. But that positioned them up here and really is about to trap the rest of Woolrich's brigade up in these woods if this continues. The rest of McNair's brigade was down here. I got into a little firefight over here with the rest of Kirk's units, particularly the 30th Indiana, which they both were disordered, within that firefight from there. So again, pushing along here, not what they kind of expected. A little hold up here, but I think they can break through. That's just going to hold up Johnson over here a little bit, but he may divert and go through the cedars if the opportunity poses for him. So that was McCowan's first, and let's go with the next chit, which is going to be Shelbourne. All right, so I'm going to get that going. So I'm going to figure out what I want to do with him now on the first activation. They may not do anything. Or some may do something and some may not. So let me take a look at that and I'll get back with you. Okay, back with you. Gonna give you an update on, let me move that light out of the way so it gets the glare out of there for you. Give you an update on what it looks like here. So Claiborne, and I apologize for mispronouncing names or thinking of one name and saying another when I'm saying these names, so apologize for that. But Claiborne here, or Shellborn, not Claiborne. One and the other, as I said. His movement here, couple things, easy stuff over here. Liddell and Wood just continued their flank march to support McCowan's attack up through here. I think they're going to be the one to drive up here, not so much Johnson. I think Johnson will join them eventually here, but I got to wait till the rest of McNair and Ecker's units clear the road and clear out this corner over here. So they're going to hang back a minute so we don't get too much of a log jam. I did have Polk, who is in attack mode, move up a little bit to put some pressure on these units here to keep them either in place or to engage them directly. So this gives a good position for them right now. Hopefully, I'm really hoping that Shelburne doesn't come out again till towards the end of the turn, to be quite honest, or till McCowan moves up there again. So we'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, not much on the Union side in terms of response there. Really can't do any retreats. There was no attacks and everything there. So next one up, first Union one here, try to get that to zoom in, is Sheridan. So Sheridan's way up here in the corner. I'm going to have to reposition the camera here a little bit so you can see him. There he is. He's up here in the corner. Now he's going to need to be responding to this attack over here. You can hear him rumbling through the woods. Cedars coming on board. He needs to figure out a defensive position. Now it may be good for him to actually bottle up in here because we got some cedars here and cedars here down to 1 hex across there. So I think that's what I'm going to have him do. Just looking here. I thought there was, yeah, there's some artillery right there. So we may get the artillery actually up here to shoot down across here and try to bottle them up, force them into the cedars to slow them down. So let me get that set up and I'll be back with you. Okay, back with you after getting Sheridan's units set up. Now Sheridan just has 1 brigade on the board. The bigger battle, he stretched off to the north here, off board over here. But for this battle, edge of the world is right here. So we position them, position Sill's regiments, 36th Illinois, 88th Illinois, and 21st Michigan, right across here. This is very strong, I think, very strong positioning. Even though they've got cedars in front of them here, here, and here, but it prevents Cheatham from getting in here too much. Hopefully they can hold them off here. They got a pretty strong cohesion, so I think they can hold pretty well. Same thing for the 88th Illinois. I think they can hold out here pretty well and get some longer shots. Even though they're older rifles, they'll be in good position and hopefully get some support from these rifled units. 21st Michigan over here as well. Then I position the artillery back here to control this avenue of approach because that's where they're going to want to come through, is right through this position here, either through the cedars or more importantly through here. This commands this, so they're not going to get through there very easily. Then we do have some reserve over here with the 24th Wisconsin. They are sitting back here in case somebody breaks or Davis has some problems over here with Woodruff. So that is where we sit with Sheridan's first AM. So next one is going to be Cheatham. In response to that movement, we have Cheatham, who again is down here and going to move on to the board. So we'll get this going and be back with you. Okay, back with you, and you can see that Cheatham His division's moved on. Now he consists of Loomis for special rule purposes. They're part of Cheatham's division. Loomis and Vaughn, the two brigades, have moved on to the board over here and started their march up this way. Again, not close enough to fight or do anything there, so it's just a quick movement on the board. So I've gone through 4 chits already. Next one is going to be, and we're back to McCowan again. So that's good. So that comes back up here a little bit. There we go. And we'll be back centered on this, and hopefully we can get around here a little bit and keep pushing. So that's good because Johnson hasn't had an AM yet, which means these units are going to be close to being cut off here very quickly and get rolling across here. So anyway, let me continue on, get some movement going, maybe bring you back for some shock combat. We'll see how things go here. So let me move this and get back to you. Okay, back with you after McCowan's second activation. And this was a bit devastating. I would have brought it back in, but it's a lot of calculations on here, and I didn't want to bore you with that. But quite a bit of action over here. First off, Rains over here broke through and actually destroyed another Union regiment. This was the 39th Indiana, and they actually collapsed and routed with only 2 strength points left by the time everything was said and done. They got trapped in here because of units behind them over here. They couldn't retreat, so they kept losing step points. So Rains has broken through over here. This is the next target for them. I don't know if they'll get out. We still have the artillery over here. We'll try to extract here as well. These guys over here, the 89th Illinois and the 15th Ohio, are kind of holding for now. They went into a firefight with McNair over here, and McNair got the best of it, or they got the best of McNair. And one regiment lost a step and disordered. So holding out here, but as you can see, Ector shot through the gap up the road and positioned his brigade, or most of his brigade, up here on the road, threatening Davis's right flank and really cutting through most of what was left of Woolrich's and Kirk's brigades up through here. This is in a good position now, I feel, because he's cleared the Franklin Road, so we can get Johnson moving up here as well, or possibly Liddell up here. Maybe Liddell first. I'm not quite sure yet. We'll see how the chits play out, because we do have these 2 regiments over here from Shelburne, or 2 brigades from Shelburne to attack through there. The Union's having just a tough time over on this side, and this is historically accurate because, oh, I apologize for the glare. I should have tipped that up for you. There we go. That's better. Because historically, this is what happened. Woolrich's brigade was crushed and just fell back, just streamed back across there. Same thing with Kirk, Post here as well, part of Davis. Davis did kind of make a stand over here. We'll see if he can do that as well, and kind of go from there. But so far, the attack is kind of mirroring that initial attack on the first first few activations of the 7 a.m. turn. So let's move along here to the next activation, which actually, talking about Davis, there he is. So Davis is up. So that's actually good timing, because with Davis up, he now can look to swing his flank around here. But unfortunately, if he does, he may lose some artillery that is kind of stuck in this little wedge over here. Because artillery really, if they try to go through the cedars, it's just an impossible task. They get disordered automatically. If they try to move too fast, they start losing strength points, and it's really not a good situation for them. So you may need to lose that. We'll have to have a good little bit of thought on this to figure out what to do with Davis. I think his flank over here is um, tied in with Sheridan well to protect from Cheatham's attack over here, but this whole centerpiece is going to be tough. I think I will have Baldwin, once Johnson activates, try to string out back here along the woods to protect these hexes. I think if Davis can hold here, Sheridan holding over in here, and Baldwin holding across here, and just let these units fall back, there may be a chance to get into a big firefight right here, but stop the Confederates up here. But it's going to be tough because we haven't seen Shelburne come into action. We haven't seen Wharton's cavalry come into action. They're positioned to circumvent this here as well, and try to get in behind them and try to attack up here, which would be great if I think if Wharton got an activation after Davis, that would be really devastating because he could basically come up to about here, maybe here, and then be positioned to attack across there if need be. But there's certainly enough weight behind the Confederate attack, the units back here, that the biggest thing is trying not to get a traffic jam developed, because it's very easy. This linear tactics is very easy to get a traffic jam in through here if you're not careful. So that's it for McCowan. We're on to Davis, so I'm going to get Davis moving and we'll go from there. Okay, back again, and just finished up with Davis, and there we go. And just to recap of what happened with Davis here, I think what the plan is going to be with Davis is he's going to split his division. Carland and Post are going to try to be the first line of defense for this breakthrough over here. They're trying to shift over in this way. Carlin is leaving a couple of regiments kind of on their own out here in the woods, just to prevent any type of end around over there, as well as over here. Post is trying to figure out how to realign his brigade. He's got 2 regiments over here, but over here, the other half plus the artillery is facing being squeezed into this corner over here. A little exchange of firepower back and forth over here. Not too much happened. The Union is okay, but the 15th Texas took a casualty hit, a strength point loss. So Davis is kind of aligned there, and kind of hopefully setting up a first line to let Baldwin back here come on for a second line, or possibly even extending out to the Union right a little bit more, because I think Woolwich is just in real tough shape. Back here, these units are probably going to stream back here and going to have to recover later, because he's got 3 brigades hitting them of McCowan. So, anyways, the next chit is going to be Shelburne. So that's going to be the second Shelburne chit out there. Okay, that's good. Let's see, they're part of Hardee's. So I'll take a look and see what they're going to do. As I was showing you before, coming up this way with Liddell and Wood, and coming across this way with Johnson, and mixing it up here with Polk, which could be interesting up into here. So let me get to it and bring you back and show you what happens. Okay, I'm back with Davis. Excuse me, not Davis. Shelburne's movement, and the big thing here was Polk attacking over here, and his attacks were pretty good. Over here we had these 2 units, the 5th CS and the 5th Tennessee, attacking the 77th Pennsylvania. And you can see they disordered them and then they also reduced them and pushed them out of there, and they went into the cedars there as well. And then Polk himself, they were able to maneuver and get to the side of the artillery piece here. This was the what was it here? 5th Wisconsin howitzers up here, and they had a really tough situation. They had to hold, both sides of the attack here, and they just couldn't do it. They were hit with fire and demoralized, disordered, I should say, and then overrun with a shock attack by those units in there. The other one positive side for the Union over here, the 75th Illinois was able to repulse the 13th Arkansas over here. A little bit of an overmatch over here. They had fired it out here. Had a little bit of a musket duel firefight over here, and they were disordered, and they had a chance to actually get in there, but actually then calculating the odds, it was actually bad, very bad odds, and they actually lost and had to push back across there. But generally, this has been a very good attack by Polk, pushing back upon posts units that are trying to hold a very tough situation over in here. And as I said, Carlin's coming up. That may be good because they can potentially swing back here now that Polk is coming into action to try to stop him over there. But it's going to be a tough situation. Johnson just moved up a little bit. A little bit of change of plans. He will hold back here a little bit in favor of Wood and Liddell to push up the road to help reinforce McCowan's attack down the road, and Ector and this guy over here, which is McNair. That's it. McNair's attack up here. So they're streaming up here. I'm trying not to get too much of a logjam. I'm hopeful that they can potentially get around. They may take some fatigue to get around here and try to cut these guys off here, just to get around and try to expand over here before either Carlin or Baldwin can get position up here as well. That would be good, because then they'd be in position. If they get up here, Baldwin gets up here to try to block, then it's going to be much tougher. So both those have streamed up here and got into position. So that's just what the activation was for Shelburne. So now let's go on to our next chit. Oh, we're back to McCowan again. All right, that's going to be his third chit over here, and just give you a little bit of a look at what chit layout looks like so far. And that's upside down, but that's okay. So here's how the chits have pulled so far. Of course, McGowan was first, Shelburne, Sheridan, Cheatham, McCowan, Davis, Shelburne, and McCowan again. So we're on the third chit for McCowan. Now this is going to be interesting because some of his units have already taken fatigue, and he is up on his second activation with his 3 brigades. Now I'm just looking here at my little cheat sheet in terms of who has done what. Let's see, McNair. Right, everybody is actually activated twice, and some have shocked as well. So if they do anything, they're going to incur some more fatigue. Now I don't think, I know, yeah, they've got fatigue. They've got fatigue, and they've got fatigue. So they've all got initial fatigue. So they can go up one more level. They go to fatigue 0. I hate to push him too much too early. I mean, it's only a 4-turn game. So, but I don't want to lose the momentum. So Yeah, I'm gonna have to have some thought on this guy as well. See if I want to push him up here to a fatigue 0, um, or if I want to hang them back for a minute. Because I know pretty soon, the chits are going to come out on the Union side, and these guys are going to try to escape. So I gotta kind of make hay with what I can. So let me take a look at that, and I'll get back with you. Thanks. Okay, so back with McCowan's third activation. Now, kind of trailed off with some of the brigades here. Both McNair and Ecker did not move or fire in the course of this. They did rally. McNair was able to rally his units up over here. Ecker's just kind of stayed put, saving that fatigue on there. Rains, on the other hand, incurred another fatigue and pushed the 2 units out of here. One of them, this one here, the 32nd Indiana, was collapsed through fire, and then the 49th Ohio voluntary retreated when Rains looked to shock them in there. So that pushed them back over there. Now they incurred another level of fatigue, so they're at fatigue 0 now. That should be okay. The other ones did not, so hopefully keeping them alive a little bit. I'm a little concerned here that I didn't push Ecker up here a little bit to engage them and allow them to potentially get a line going up here. But I think it's for the best, just to keep them in good shape. I probably could have moved them around, moved them into an attack position, fired, and incurred another hit of fatigue, but really didn't want to do that. So again, we'll see how it plays out. It's all a game of choices, and that's the beauty of all of our games that we play. So hopefully we get choices that either work or don't. Here we go again. Okay, McCowan's last one. So interesting. Puts me right back in the choice. I'm definitely not going to move Rains. I don't want him to incur another fatigue. I think they've done enough pushing and shoving over here. Oops, these guys should have pivoted. The artillery now has a shot on them. Well, not much I can do, but that'll have to be. Yeah, I think I'm going to have McNair and Ecker incur a little bit more fatigue because this is their last one, and I do want to keep hitting the Union, particularly up the road here. So I'll start off with Ecker and move him up and go into attack. So let me do the details and get back with you with the results. Okay, back with Gowan's turn here with this. So Ecker moved up, stretched his line, and kind of went after the 15th Wisconsin here, and with some shooting, got a little bit, took off strength point off there, but that was about it. But he's consolidated himself over here, which is a good position in here. Leaves a little bit of a gap over here, but I think Liddell can move up over here, and Wood can move up over here, as well as Ecker's units are kind of streaming up through the cedars and through here. So hopefully that'll fill the gap before any type of counterattack can happen. This does, give an interesting opportunity for the Union if they can make any use of it. So they moved. Rains did not move, although he does want to try to recover a couple units. So we'll do those live here because I forgot those. So he's going to recover, try to recover this guy here. I can't make him out. It's a North Carolina unit. Needs a 6 or less. Rolls a 2. He's good. All right. So he's back in good shape. And that won't occur fatigue for them. Same thing with this guy over here. He needs a 5 or less. rolls a 1. He's back in good shape. Okay, so that doesn't incur any fatigue on him. So that's it for McCowan. All 4 of his activations are out. So now hopefully it's up to Shelburne to get his troops up in there as well. Making good headway. Definitely taking the road. Really knocked out Woolrich's units and making some good progress here. So the next one is Cheatham. Wow, I think all the Union are going to come out last. I know there's not a lot of them in there, but you know, there's definitely still a good amount. So going with Cheatham, that's over here, and he is going up against Sheridan and Woodruff of Davis's units. So let me get those moving, and we'll get back to you from there. Okay, so that was a very quick one. To start off with, Cheatham activated Vaughn to try to change orders. That failed with retain and stand, so he didn't do anything, just stayed where put. Loomis, on the other hand, continued to move up here, right up to the road. He'll be trying to change his orders probably the next turn there. But that was about it for them. Pretty easy activation. That was their second for both of them. Quick note of that. And we'll move on from there. So doing a little stir. And Shelburne, wow, getting all the Confederates. Union will come out here eventually, but did they show that on screen? I don't know. There you go. It's Shelburne right there. So that's going to be their third. So this is going to be interesting to figure out what they want to do. I want to continue Liddell moving up here to fill this gap, and Wood, figuring out where Wood's going to go. Johnson's variable, and Polk over here as well. So let me take a look at that, and we'll get back to you after that. Okay, back with Shelburne's move, and Polk and Liddell were the only 2 that moved. Wood stayed put, and Johnson stayed put. I kept them there only because I didn't want to cause a log jam on the road. Wood moving up over here, with Liddell moving up over here, and then Wood right behind him, and then Rains still there, and still remnants of McNair over there. With just too much activity right in one area there. So kind of held them back for the moment. They may move up again. We've still got one more activation with them, but for now they're staying where they are. So the point with Liddell was to move up here, fill this gap. He also put 2 of his regiments back here in reserve, and 2 up to the front to cover the gap over in here. Now they are in advance orders, so they can't move adjacent to enemy units here or up in here. So I think this is good for now, and because they're coming to the end of their activation, next turn with brigade orders, as long as they're in orders, we get them automatically there, rather than try to flip them at this point. So that's why they stayed there. Then with Polk, you can see he is making progress up here. A little firefight over here, pushed back the 75th Illinois, and the 1st Arkansas could actually move up into the cedars over there, putting some more pressure on that little hinge joint right here in the line. They failed to recover. A little bit of moving up over here, a little exchange of firefight over there. Not much really going on. They disordered, and I think they lost a strength point as they were going into the fight. So again, still all going well for the Confederates, pushing through these cedars and up the road. So the next chit, cavalry. All right, cavalry. There we go. So it's going to be the Wharton's units up over here, right here. And now this is where I'm thinking, first off, I got to move my trays of chits. This is where Wharton can start his move across here because there's nothing on this flank, Union right flank over here, that can stop them from racing around here. This artillery is now engaged with Rains, so they can't do anything. This collapsed unit, as long as they don't get close to them, we'll just be watching. So I think they'll move up here. That'll cut off this one lone reinforcement coming in from the north and give something for Baldwin to worry about once he gets activated. So let's get them moving, and I will get back to you from there. Okay, we're back with Wharton's move, and you can see he's moved up and crossed the Franklin Road over here, swinging around behind them. Next turn, he should be able to position somewhere over in here to stop him coming and giving Baldwin something to think about. The only thing trailing is his horse artillery here. Again, going across country is slower for them, but they'll catch up even if they're out of command. They should be okay. So next one, cavalry again. Wow. Surprising, not getting any of the Union, but they'll, like I said, they'll all come out in the end because we're looking at 2, 3, 5 Confederates left and 2, 4, 7. Yeah, 5 to 7. So there's a good chance that they're coming out. So cavalry again. So here goes Wharton around the line. Okay, Wharton has made his dash and has come around, closing this gap over here. This now gives Baldwin something to think about. And really, giving some tough times and almost forming a fishhook line coming around here, and that would be dangerous for the Union, for McCook, because they just don't have the troops to defend at all. One set of small units turned this way just to protect against this one unit coming back in over there. So. Yeah, it's been all Confederates all the time. In fact, I'll just give you a quick peek at the AMs here again. So here you can see. Oops, flip you around. Yep, here you go. Come on. There we go. So there you go. See, there's McGowan. Only 2 Union AMs out of all of them so far this turn. So. Going to be interesting. Let's see what we got left here. All right, there we go. Union. Johnson's coming on. All right, so Johnson is these units over here. It's basically the remnants of Woolwich, Baldwin, and Kirk. The remnants of Kirk over here. So let me take a look and figure out what I want to do from there and get back with you. Okay, back with Johnson's activation. And you can see here Baldwin has moved up, taking defensive positions to respond to Wharton's cavalry, as well as along the road here as a second line of defense. Once something happens to Carlin's units back here. So that was his. Kirk over here is generally stuck. We've got a traffic jam with Post right here. He can't move back through here to get out of there, and moving across in this way would just move him in front of them. So they're kind of stuck right there for now. I'm not sure what's going to happen to him. He may not last the turn or next turn. Then Woolwich is in the same predicament. Woolwich's command is back here. His units are up here. The Confederates are between him. These units are cut off. A little bit of a firefight back and forth here. Some strength losses. They did collapse the 4th Arkansas here, and with a little firefight over here. But over here, the 49th Ohio took the worst of it by disordering and also losing a step with Rains. So it's going to be tough over here. I expect they're going to be shoved out of this woods, and then that'll be probably it for them. So that's it for Johnson. Let's see who we've got next coming up. And this is going to be, it's going to be Cheatham next. Okay, still have 4 more Confederate activations on there. Cheatham, which, if you remember, is our guys over here. We'll see what I can do with them and get back with you. So after looking at Cheatham's situation over here, they're still in advance orders. So they would have to come out of, or try to change orders this turn to get out of there. Not very good odds for that. I've got a +1 for Vaughn at least, but Loomis would have nothing. So, and it also incur fatigue, and so there's a good potential of downside on this this movement. One benefit, they could get into attack, kind of lock in Sheridan and or Sill and Woodruff, but they're already locked in. They're not moving out of here. They know the attack's coming through here, so it really doesn't matter that they're not moving. So Cheatham's just going to hang tight, not burn an activation and incur fatigue, and just wait for the next turn for the division order change. So moving on here, we have Davis. Davis is going to be our next one over here, and remember, Davis is these units up through here. So this is interesting because this is where we were talking about post, getting them into position. So this is their second, and this is going to be their last. So I'll have to think about this, and we'll get back with you. Welcome back to turn 2. Reshooting one of the last scenes here of the 160th anniversary playthrough of Stone River with Dead of Winter GMT. Going through the video in editing, I discovered that the last segment of the video after Davis's activation, second activation, had some technical difficulties with it. So consequently, the last third of the video was not usable. So I'm splicing in this video now to show you the results of the last third of the turn. And most of it was repositioning. There was some attacks and such, which I'll go through here as well, but not a lot of impact was lost by not seeing each activation's results. And I'm showing you now where we are at the end of the turn with this. So first off, starting with the Confederates, again, pushing forward as much as possible along the intersection from the Franklin Road up here and kind of stabilizing this. Now, a lot of this kind of held back a little bit for fear of fatigue setting in for units. Some units did incur a little bit of fatigue, such as like Ecker's units here. They did do some shooting back and forth across here with the Union regiment right here, and other regiments that were over here. Okay, posts units over there as well as Rains continuing to reduce the Woolrich's brigade stuck in the woods now well behind the lines, and you can see that Wood has come over to help support that as well. So I fear that they're going to be lost here in a little bit. And then we've got Shelbourne moving up as much as possible. Polk is fully engaged over here with the Union units from Davis's and Kirk's, Davis's division and Kirk's brigade. We have Liddell moving up over here, taking a little bit of fatigue to move up. We've got Johnson moving here to hold in reserve. As I said before, Wood back over there, holding, swinging around. Biggest thing to the north here, the cavalry has kind of reset its line rather than being perpendicular to the line of advance. They've now aligned with it, given that Baldwin has come out of the woods and provided a substantial force in front of them, as well as firming up the line along the road over here. That was the biggest thing that occurred within there on Johnson's second activation. Then with Davis, where I had left off here, Davis is linking up with Baldwin and providing the kind of the linchpin section over here and pulling back some of the units. Post pulling back units, Carlin moving up units, and then we're going to try to get Kirk back. He slowly has been able to move some back, but not without taking some losses in the in the action. And trying to hold this line over here because we are going to have a gap over here because of the woods that's going to allow some defensive capability over there. Although Polk could swing a little bit more to the left as the other units come up and get into this this woods. It's not cedar, but it's just regular wood over here. We'll see how that goes. Then to the northeast, we have Sheridan and Woodruff of Davis's division holding a line along the cedars and over here. They're in a very good defensive position to hold off Cheatham's attack over here. And this is potentially going to be a roadblock for them because they want to push around here to try to drive into there and get these victory hexes over there. And it's a tough drive. These guys have firmed up pretty good over here. Cheatham moved up, couldn't change orders, so they basically just stayed there until the next turn, where they'll be able to try to change their orders without the risk of incurring fatigue, because I'd like to get them hitting them hard as quick as possible, within there. So that was kind of the rest of the turn. Not very much action. Most of it was in the front end, which I showed you there. Just a couple of things here in the end of turn segment, looking at the brigade combat effectiveness phase with the brigades and the divisions. None of the Union brigades, Kirk and Woolridge, have reached brigade ineffectiveness yet. Confederates are in good shape as well. So we haven't had any in there. Now remember, that's one of the key pieces of the victory conditions, is to have units combat ineffective for the Union and trying not to for the Confederates, for a Confederate win, and vice versa for a Union win. The only difference is I've added the fact that I wanted to add a little bit more effect to keep the Confederates driving up here, because really for the bigger scenario, the full day scenario, they really wanted to get up to the north off of here as well. So they need to capture these, otherwise they get a reduction in their victory conditions. So with that brings us to the end of turn 2. And that's the 7 a.m. turn. We'll move on to the 8 a.m. turn next, and we'll see what happens. I think it's a kind of a preview for that. As I said over here, we're going to try to get these guys into action. We'll try to sort out the center here a little bit and get Ecker and Liddell pushing up through here. Continue to reduce Woolrich's brigade over there. We'll see what Johnson finally does. He's providing support back over here. And we'll see what Polk does, whether continuing this way or sliding into the woods to try to get around over there. And of course, for the Union side, they are going to try to prevent this. They've got a decent line forming up over here to prevent the Confederates from advancing. They've got a good solid line over here to hopefully prevent them from advancing. And we'll see. There's 2 turns to go, turn 8 and 9 AMs. and we'll go from there. So I hope you're enjoying this, and I thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for turn 3.